Can someone explain why a rebuilding franchise would even consider mortgaging future assets for a 30-year-old rental player? This isn't rhetorical frustration. It's a legitimate question that demands serious examination as the Montreal Canadiens reportedly enter discussions for Vancouver Canucks winger Kiefer Sherwood. With 3 months separating us from the March trade deadline, the chess pieces are already moving across the NHL board, and Kent Hughes finds himself in a position that could either validate his patient rebuild or expose a moment of weakness that haunts this organization for years. Who is Kiefer Sherwood? Let's establish the baseline facts with clinical precision. Kiefer Sherwood, the 30-year-old American right winger currently skating for Vancouver, represents everything contending teams crave at the deadline. Standing 6 feet tall with a playing style that combines offensive production with physical engagement, Sherwood has exploded this season with 12 goals, a career-best performance arriving at the most financially opportune moment of his professional life. According to insider David Pagnotta on the Sekiers and Price podcast, Sherwood possesses 3 irresistible qualities. Goal-scoring ability. His 12 tallies represent legitimate offensive contribution, relentless intensity. The sandpaper edge that energizes teammates and frustrates opponents' team-friendly contract, currently earning $1.5 million, with bonus structure reducing his cap hit to just $775,000 for 2025 to 26. This financial flexibility explains why teams aren't waiting until March to make inquiries. Multiple contenders have already contacted Vancouver, including the Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche, Minnesota Wild, and New Jersey Devils. And yes, Montreal has joined this conversation. Pagnotta's exact words carry significant weight. The Montreal Canadiens, even though they're not leading their division, are another club keeping an eye on players who would fit Kiefer Sherwood's profile. The market dynamics Sherwood approaches unrestricted free agency this summer, making him the quintessential rental acquisition. He's not engaged in extension discussions with Vancouver, signaling his availability. The expected market price? A first-round pick as a baseline, with additional considerations depending on bidding competition. Come July, expect Sherwood's asking price to soar to at least $4 million annually, possibly more if he maintains his current scoring pace through season's end. Here's where emotion must surrender to analytics, where passion confronts reality. Sherwood does not play center. For a Canadiens organization that has publicly, repeatedly, and emphatically acknowledged their desperate need for center depth, this creates immediate philosophical tension. Would Sherwood crack Montreal's top 6? Unlikely. Cole Caulfield, Nick Suzuki, and Uri Slavkovsky occupy those premium positions. A third-line role? Possibly, where his energy and physicality could complement skill players. But is that worth surrendering a first-round selection? The lifeblood of sustainable team building? The asset management dilemma Montreal's prospect pipeline shows promise, but requires protection and patience. Names like Owen Beck, Joshua Roy, and Lane Hudson represent the future foundation. Trading premium draft capital for incremental improvements contradicts everything Hughes has preached about long-term construction. The Canadiens are not leading their division. They're a young, developing team with promising pieces, but glaring holes. Their current position, hovering around playoff contention, but realistically outside legitimate cup consideration, represents the most dangerous zone for decision-making. It's the space where desperation masquerades as ambition, where short-term thinking derails carefully constructed rebuilds. Let's be intellectually honest. Kent Hughes' interest makes logical sense from a pure player evaluation standpoint. Sherwood embodies characteristics the Canadiens demonstrably lack. Physical presence. Montreal ranks among the league's least intimidating teams' physically playoff-style intensity, the kind of engagement that translates to postseason success responsible two-way play. Defensive reliability combined with offensive contribution. If Hughes has received private assurances that Sherwood would consider an extension at reasonable terms, the calculation changes dramatically. A 30-year-old winger signing a 3-year deal at $4 million annually represents manageable risk with tangible upside. But without that extension guarantee, and all indications suggest Sherwood will test free agency, this represents exactly the kind of short-term thinking that derails rebuilds. While Sherwood generates headlines, the seismic story brewing in Vancouver involves his teammate and captain, Quinn Hughes. The elite defenseman sits just 19 months from unrestricted free agency, creating existential questions for the Canucks front office. The franchise-altering decision if Vancouver decides to trade their franchise cornerstone, a decision that would send shockwaves to the entire league. Expect fierce, unrelenting competition. The Detroit Red Wings have reportedly signaled they won't allow the New Jersey Devils to acquire Hughes without a fight. Detroit possesses premium draft assets, cap space, flexibility, desperate motivation to return to relevance. A bidding war for Quinn Hughes will be spectacular theater, the kind of transaction that defines franchises for a decade. Montreal's calculation for the Canadiens. Quinn Hughes represents a different calculation entirely. This is a caliber of player you mortgage futures to acquire, a legitimate number one defenseman entering his prime years with elite offensive instincts and defensive reliability. The cost will be astronomical, multiple first-round picks, top prospects, likely including Lane Hutson or Logan Mailloux, and roster players. It's a conversation worth having, even if the price ultimately proves prohibitive. But here's the critical distinction. Quinn Hughes changes your franchise trajectory. Kiefer Sherwood provides incremental improvement. Roster updates Adam Engstrom's status. The young defenseman remains uncertain for tonight's game, with indications suggesting he may not dress. His development continues to be managed carefully, balancing NHL exposure with confidence-building opportunities. Uri Slavkovsky's position. Despite occasional speculation, the organization views Slavkovsky as a winger, not a center. That positioning won't change regardless of center depth concerns. His physical tools and offensive instincts project best on the wing, where he can utilize his size advantage without the defensive responsibilities of center ice. The broader context Montreal's road ahead features difficult decisions, competing philosophies, and constant tension between winning now and building sustainably. Kent Hughes has navigated these waters skillfully thus far, demonstrating patience when competitors panicked, accumulating assets when others depleted them. The Sherwood situation represents a test of conviction. Let's examine this through pure data analysis. Kiefer Sherwood's 2024-25 season, 12 goals in 30 games, 0.40 goals per game, career average, 0.15 goals per game, current shooting percentage, likely unsustainable career high age 30, declining years approaching, contract status, UFA this summer historical comparables. When teams trade first-round picks for rental wingers, success rates hover around 35%. The majority of these acquisitions fail to justify the asset expenditure, particularly when the acquiring team wasn't a legitimate contender beforehand. Montreal's current position, record, hovering around .500 goal differential, slightly negative playoff probability, approximately 40 to 45% center depth, desperately inadequate defensive depth, improving but incomplete the mathematical reality. Adding Sherwood might improve playoff probability by 5 to 8 percentage points. That marginal increase doesn't justify surrendering a first-round selection with 15 to 20% probability of becoming an impact NHL player. Sometimes the best trades are the ones you don't make. This fundamental truth separates competent general managers from exceptional ones. Just because a player is available doesn't mean acquiring him serves your long-term interests. Just because competitors are circling doesn't mean you must join the feeding frenzy. Why Montreal should pass positional mismatch. Sherwood doesn't address center depth asset depletion. First-round picks are precious in rebuild's rental risk. No extension guarantee means potential one-year rental developmental timeline. Montreal's core is 2 to 3 years from legitimate contention market inefficiency. Sherwood's current production likely represents career year variance. The alternative path Kent Hughes should focus on center acquisitions. Target players who address actual positional needs, asset accumulation. Continue collecting picks and prospects core development. Allow Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, and Hutson to mature patient opportunism. Strike when franchise-altering players, like Quinn Hughes, become available. Montreal's path forward requires discipline, patience, and unwavering commitment to their stated rebuild timeline. Sherwood is a quality player experiencing a career year. He would help any team. But he's not the answer to Montreal's most pressing questions. And surrendering premium assets for a rental forward contradicts everything Hughes has built. The Kiefer Sherwood rumors illuminate a fundamental truth about NHL management. opportunity, and wisdom don't always align. The most successful rebuilds feature general managers who resist temptation, who endure criticism for inaction, who trust their process when external pressure mounts. Kent Hughes has earned credibility through patient, intelligent decision-making. The Kirby Dach acquisition, the Laine and Monahan flip, the Alex Newhook trade, these moves demonstrate calculated risk-taking aligned with long-term vision. Trading a first-round pick for Kiefer Sherwood would represent a departure from that philosophy, a moment of weakness disguised as aggression. Unless Hughes has information unavailable to the public, extension willingness, medical concerns about prospects, or private assurances about Sherwood's intentions, this move makes little strategic sense. The Canadiens should stay the course, protect the assets, develop the core, wait for the franchise-altering opportunity, rather than chasing incremental improvement. What's your take on the Canadiens' reported interest in Kiefer Sherwood? Would you sacrifice a first-round pick for a rental winger who doesn't play center? Or should Hughes maintain his patient rebuild approach? Does the minimal cap hit change your calculation? And if Vancouver makes Quinn Hughes available, how aggressive should Montreal become? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's have an honest, intelligent debate about this franchise's direction. And if you appreciate no-nonsense hockey analysis that prioritizes logic over hype, smash that like button and let me know what topics you want covered next. Your voice matters in shaping how we view this organization's future. Let's talk hockey. Current date, Friday, December 5th, 2025, 11:20 a.m. This has been your in-depth analysis of the Kiefer Sherwood trade rumors and their implications for the Montreal Canadiens rebuild. Stay tuned for more breaking news and analytical breakdowns as the trade deadline approaches.